What? Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
I've lost interest too.
Look at me with those tone of eyes.
Yeah.
Well, the mayor said something about that. I went, holy crap, I didn't know that.
What?
You have to do election
No, and I didn't give him any opportunities to run the meetings. Well, I wasn't gone. I missed opportunities. I missed opportunities.
They better
All
turn my
right,
phone down.
5:28.
what I just did.
Well, when I really started
Holy smokes, yeah, the emails are rolling in. Oops.
home from a meeting at night
Lee and Weber.
in the 90s and that was in February. I just went in for physical. And just said to my doctor,
Never early.
Like a minute late.
he looked at my chart.
He's got 1 minute.
I was afraid I wasn't gonna make it. The line at the quick stop to check out for my bottle of water was. Holy
Yeah. Everybody should own a quick stop.
You know, thing about that is,
I need him to build one by my house. They were gonna build that on A in Lakeview out there.
I keep hoping that somebody will build one out there.
Well, it was said a long time ago they were gonna build one in Lakeview when they built those apartments.
Yeah.
That apartment up, and they're redoing the road, so I'm hoping the quick stop comes next.
Or
and then they gotta
Casey's.
start the one out by,
Yeah, they're gonna do the one out on
Walker
Walker and Buffalo.
but I'm told there may be something coming from this pipe work.
Oh, good, cause I want mine built first.
Go ahead and just build it.
Oh, my gosh.
Take a hold and build one.
Now, I'm gonna offer to go shovel the dirt.
Okay, it is 5:30. Are you ready?
Yes.
Right there.
The August meeting of the North Platte Planning Commission will come to order. Roll call.
Davies. Winder.
Here?
Fudge.
Present.
Bain.
Here.
Weber. McGann.
Here.
Jett.
Here.
Forbes.
Here.
And Whirl. Here. Okay, a quorum is present.
Thank you. Current copy of the Open Meetings Act of Nebraska is posted at the back of the council chambers. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of our July 26, 2022 meeting, and you should have received a copy of that.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Fudge moved, Bain seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Clicker vote. And the minutes are approved.
Minutes?
Yes,
Been
the
sniff-
minutes are approved.
Sniffing flowers down there, have you?
Item number 3 is to discuss and consider action on a request to vacate a 16-foot alley between 1218 North Ash Street and 505 Rodeo Road, running east and west from Ash, and a request to vacate a 12-foot alley on the west side of 1218 North Ash Street, running north and south. More particularly, the alley on the south side of Lot 3, McEachran's subdivision, North Platte, Nebraska, and north side of Zeller, 2nd Administrative Subdivision, North Platte, Nebraska, and the alley on the west side of lots 1 to 3, McEachran's subdivision, North Platte, Nebraska, and the east side of Lot 2, Block 12, ED, May replat, North Platte, Nebraska. Judy.
And you should have all received a copy of the review comments. Attached to that, you should have a location map that shows the sewer line running through both of those alleys, and then a location map. The applicant is requesting the alley vacation to allow for reconfiguration of the lots and possible fence installation. The city does have sewer lines located in both alleys, so we would like to keep those as utility easements. Planning staff has no objections to the requested alley vacations, providing the 16-foot and 12-foot are retained as utility easements in place of those alleys. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help.
I struggled to even find this thing.
Oh,
Okay,
Right behind
Zeller
Yeah,
Motors.
no, I mean, I found it, but it's
Yeah,
like,
you can't even tell it's an alley.
Glen Drive.
Well, I'm like, yeah, it's Zellers and the
Yeah.
it's,
place to the north of it.
I mean, Zellers is parking cars back there, and actually the north-south alley's harder to find than the east-west alley.
They're already using it.
So there is a sewer line that runs, does that sewer line service those 3 lots off Ash then? Is that where it runs?
yes, on there you can see it services, there's a sewer line that runs north and south that services those 3 alleys, or those 3 lots there. And then the one that runs east and west does service the alleys that are on the south side. So they do have to remain there, and that's why we're requesting to keep the alley, or the utility easements, but vacating the alley.
I've been hard-pressed to say there was an alley in the first place, so. I move to approve the request to vacate 16-foot alley between 1218 North Ash Street and 505 Rodeo Road, running east and west from Ash, and a request to vacate a 12-foot alley on the west side of 1218 North Ash, running north and south, and retaining a 16-foot utility easement and a 12-foot utility easement in place of the alleys.
Second.
Moved by Fudge, seconded by Jet. Any discussion, any further discussion? Quicker vote. And the motion carries. Okay, file number SU 22-016 is to discuss and consider action on an application, North Platte Area Chamber and Development Corporation, for preliminary and final approval of Mulligan Meadows First Subdivision located at 1517 to 1621 Adams Avenue in an R2 dwelling district on property described as part of Lot 11, Cody Land and Cattle Company subdivision to North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska. Judy.
And again, you should have all received a copy of the review comments. Attached to that is a copy of the subdivision, and then again, a location map showing water and sewer lines in that area. The subdivision will split one lot into 9 lots. Future roads will be created. However, these lots do have access to a city-improved road and sewer. Water service will need to be extended to the lots. The preliminary and final subdivision is attached along with the location map. Planning staff has no objections to Mulligan Meadows First Subdivision. The applicant is in the audience if you have any questions, or I'd be happy to answer.
Anyone?
Any questions, either for Judy or for Mr. Pearson?
Got somebody ready to start building out there?
We're working on it. We're working with, had interest from 3 different.
Okay.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry, Gary.
Yep. Gary Pearson, President, North Platte Area Chamber Development Corporation, 502 South Dewey. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, yes, our whole intent, of course, was to try to get some of our housing off of dead center. It's kind of embarrassing when you have a community this size and you had 1 permit in May, 1 in June, 1 in July for single-family housing. A community this size ought to be 25 and 30. This is the time of year developers ought to be hitting it out of the park. That shows how far and few between they are. Part of the deterrent is the availability of lots. So that's why we felt our Chamber Development Corporation needed to step forward. The city worked with us in allowing us to purchase that property, went through the process. We now have it rezoned. It was previously designated substandard and blighted before we ever looked at it. It's one of the areas we looked at. The north side has not had many new houses developed over the last quarter century, so we felt this would help reinvigorate the north side too. It's a desirable location with a middle school on one side, the golf course on the other. We felt a reasonable chance of attracting developers to try to develop some workforce housing. We're working with 3 different ones. We've asked them to give us proposals by mid to late September so we can decide. Ideally, you'd have one of them commit to all of it so they could kind of control how the neighborhood begins to formula and the appearance of it and so forth. And so that's where we are, and in the meantime, we're trying to prepare it, and this is the easiest route to at least start phasing it in, because all the infrastructure's there with the exception of the one water line. So, we're going through that process of getting that installed. I've hired a contractor, we've hired engineers here, TC Engineering. Tom can certainly answer any other questions. But we're hoping that something happens before the end of the year, that they can get started in earnest. And two of them are stick-built developers. The other one is a modular home manufacturing company. They all, of course, being developers, they'd like to be able to kind of control that environment and so forth. What happens with the second, third, and fourth phases will be dictated on how quickly this comes together and the supply and demand continues moving forward. We know the demand is there if we can meet the supply, and also the price threshold for workforce housing with all the difficult times that contractors and supply chains went through recently. So, yeah, they won't get developed if we don't do this. So this is the next logical step in the process.
Thanks, Gary. Yep.
I move to approve the Mulligan Meadows first subdivision.
Second.
Okay, moved by, lost your name,
Winder.
Winder.
Nice to meet you.
You so quiet. I forgot who you were. Moved by Winder, seconded by Bain. They're making fun of me.
Jiminy Christmas.
Is there any discussion? Any further
The way it's gonna
discussion?
be all night tonight.
Yeah, we can stretch this out. You want to be here till midnight?
No.
No?
Okay, I think we're ready for a vote then. Clicker vote. And it is approved.
This will go to the next city council meeting on September 6th.
Okay, our next item is a public hearing. We value input, and we want to hear from the audience. During public hearings, anyone wishing to speak must first be recognized by the chair, and once you're recognized, approach the podium, state your name and your address, and keep your comments reasonably short. Repetitive, excessively long testimony may be ended at the discretion of the chair, but I don't anticipate that this evening. So, we are at a public hearing, discuss and consider action on a resolution regarding the City of North Platte, Nebraska Blight and Substandard Study, Wilkinson Study Area, prepared by Marvin Planning Consultants Incorporated, and making a recommendation regarding its conformity with the City of North Platte Comprehensive Plan 2011, whether the real estate described should be declared substandard and blighted for the development of the City of North Platte pursuant to Nebraska Community Development Law. The area includes an estimated 30 acres located along and north of Hackberry Road and south of the Interstate 80 corridor. Judy, do you want to give some remarks?
Sure. Again, you should have also received a copy of the review comments. Attached to that was a resolution. Also attached to that is the regulations revised state statute 18-2103 regarding blighted and substandard, and a copy of the North Platte future land use map as it exists in the comprehensive plan 2011, and also the blight and substandard study. City Planning Commission's responsibility in the blight and substandard determination study process is to take public comment on whether the real estate described should be declared substandard and blighted as pursuant to Nebraska Community Redevelopment Law, and if the study is in conformance with the City of North Platte Comprehensive Plan. The following statements should be considered and confirmed. The property as presented in the study meets the requirements to be declared substandard. The property as presented in the study meets the requirements to be declared blighted. The factors necessary to declare the property blighted and substandard are sufficiently distributed to impact development across the entire site, that the development of this property to its fullest potential is in the best interest of the City of North Platte and the entire region, that there are projects ready to develop in this area if they can meet the financial goals of the developers. The City of North Platte Blight and Substandard Study, Wilkinson Study Area, prepared by Marvin Planning Consultants, was on the August 2nd, 2022 City Council agenda and was referred to the City Planning Commission for review. Nebraska State Statute 18-21033 regulates the percentage of the city limits that may be declared blighted and substandard pursuant to community redevelopment law, and it states a city of the first class shall not designate more than 35% of the city as blighted. Currently, the city limits of the city of North Platte contain 11,330.13 acres, with 2,355.83 acres designated as blighted and substandard, or 20.8%. The proposed study will designate an additional 30 acres as blighted and substandard, which will increase the city's percentage to 21.1 designated as blighted and substandard. Again, a copy of the study is here. Planning staff recommends approval of the study and passage of the attached resolution. The study is in conformance with the North Platte, Nebraska Comprehensive Plan, meets the requirements to be declared blighted and substandard. By declaring this area as blight and substandard, the city remains below the 35% threshold, leaving acres available for future blight and substandard declarations. Representatives from the applicant are in the audience if you have any questions.
Okay, this is now open as a public hearing if anyone wishes to speak to planning commission members. Then I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Is that Mr. Fudge that moved?
I did not.
I moved.
Winder? Oh, my
I
gosh.
kept my little mouth shut this
You
time.
don't know the other guy's name, so.
And I just put David down.
What can I say? Moved by Winder, seconded by Bain to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Clerk or vote? Yes.
I would like to make one comment on public record.
Yes.
Gary Pearson, speaking as the president of North Platte Area Chamber and Development Corporation, 502 South Dewey. I can assure you from dealing with multiple housing developers that we have zero chance of getting workforce housing built in this community without it being substandard and blighted to make it available for the various programs that allow infrastructure costs to be not fully borne by the developer and the homeowner. And it's the tools that will allow us to have a fighting chance to get developers in here.
Thank you. Okay. Any discussion? Can I, where are we?
Clerk or vote? Close public hearing.
Close
Okay.
public hearing.
Ready to
All
vote?
right, we're voting on closing the public hearing.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and vote. Oh, you're waiting for me. What?
Anybody recording this?
Yeah, is this live?
This is
is
so
live.
fun. Yes, okay. I believe we are ready for discussion amongst ourselves. Mr. Winder, do you want to start the discussion?
Yes, 7-0.
Just to
I'm
close the public
sorry,
hearing.
it passed.
You completely confused everybody.
Apparently, we're confused up here too, so it's okay.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't either.
We're keeping people on their toes then.
That's it, that's it.
Seems pretty simple to me.
Well, I just wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, thank you.
I struggled with this one because I went out there and drove around it twice this morning, and then went to lunch, and then went back, read the study again, and then went back out there and read it. And it's actually that neighborhood's pretty nice. So I've struggled with it a little bit, but I've had some conversation with some folks, and I understand the method behind this, so I'm okay with it, but it feels a little close to the edge on a couple things here. But I understand where we're at and what we're trying to get accomplished too. We need workforce housing badly, and this is the method to get it done, so,
The
Good
homeowners
tool
were
for the
notified,
toolbox.
correct?
yeah,
The homeowners were notified?
Get the
Yeah.
26 homeowners in this little
yeah.
group right here.
area.
No,
Or how
we're
does
not
that work?
required to notify.
Okay, So they don't
homeowners.
know this
They
has
would have
happened.
been notified by public hearing,
Okay,
any of the public hearings that, they could have came out.
and no one did?
I didn't hear from anybody.
Okay.
And kind of a little bit of an answer to your question, blighted and substandard does not necessarily have to be driving around and just looking at the structure.
Right.
Structures, a lot that are declared blighted and substandard do look beautiful. I mean, they're nice places. The age of the structure, age of infrastructure, lack of development in the area, those are the things that really trigger that blight and substandard designation.
One of the things that I saw was the age of the homes, because I'm thinking those
80s.
look like nice residences, but they only have to be 40 years old.
Right.
And there were several that are 40 and over.
Yeah, if you go to the last page, you can see that, I mean,
Right.
14 of them were built in 1980.
So there were several of them that fit that requirement. Now, as long as the requirement is 40 or older,
Yeah, even though you're driving around and looking and it looks like a nice neighborhood.
Yes.
there's Always defaults to city surfaces and
Yep.
the infrastructure, so.
Mr. Appraiser, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Does having your home declared blighted and substandard affect the value at all? All right.
They just had one sell out there for 240, I think, I just seen.
Sorry, say that again.
I think they just had one sell for 240 come across my desk out there.
I was like, I just sold one that's in this study area
Yeah.
because on page 12 you can see my sold
Yeah,
sign.
I saw the sign.
Yeah. I'd like to point out that was mine and that home is now closed.
Subtle.
How much did it close for?
It closed for $210,000.
Wow.
It was a ranch style home built in 1980 actually. Yep, 3-bed, 2-bath.
Well played, sir, well played.
Yeah,
Nelson's one step ahead of us.
But there is more to substandard and blighted through the definition.
yes.
Than what it looks like in the houses around it.
That is correct.
Absolutely.
But to be clear, the people who were in that housing subdivision that were pulled in for the bare ground, they were notified. They were or were not?
They would not get a direct letter that says you are now declared or you're even in the study. No, the only notification that they would have had would have been anything from the general public, publication in the Telegraph for
Gotcha.
these meetings.
Okay.
The study, was it just on the vacant parcel?
No,
those
it had to
houses.
take
No, you
in
had to
all
include
of
all
those
of it.
houses, so
Yeah.
it's the red area that you can see, kind of the study area map.
It's the 26 houses on page 5 that are in the yellow.
Can I answer a couple questions?
If you'll identify yourself.
Yes. I didn't want to walk up here until I had okay. Keith Marvin, I'm with Marvin Planning Consultants. The majority of the study is based upon, one, the age of houses, and actually the infrastructure in the area, not necessarily the quality of the homes. If you look at some of the photographs, the streets are kind of rough through there because they've been there for quite a while. You've got potholes that have been identified where we had standing water at the time. And we've interpreted standing water as being a potential hazard because of what can happen with mosquitoes and such in those areas. So, and the West Nile virus and those types of things. So, that's the primary thing we're looking at on this. And you're absolutely right, it's close because I think the average age of the homes is 40.8. It beats the one that I dealt with that was 40.
yes.
And if you round it down, it was like 39.8. So, so anyway, this one is over, but barely. But the vast majority of the 26 homes beat the 40 years of age. So, and that's one of the key criteria that we have to meet in order to declare the area as substandard. So, there's a lot hanging on the quality of the infrastructure in the area, and if you put any more development in that area, there's probably a pretty good assumption that some of that area is gonna have to be upgraded, and it will benefit those property owners as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you.
my question is, all of these right to the south of this lot, those aren't included in the study because those are older than 1980?
They're probably newer.
I was going to say a lot of the stuff to the west of where the line draws off is newer than 1980.
that Hackberry, just
So you
south there,
pick
that,
and choose.
south of that Bear lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are newer homes
Yeah,
over in there.
that's-
And yes, when you do a study, you can, draw the lines,
Wherever you want to.
yeah, to make,
Put-
I mean.
put 'em
we
right
could've
down where
taken
you
a
have to.
larger area, we could've taken a smaller area.
Cause then you go up in here in Lynn Court with some of those manufactured homes too. I mean, those are newer as well.
That is correct.
Anything else?
Any other comments?
I mean, I was kind of on the fence too. I was driving around and wondering sort of about it as well, but I think, looking at the percentage that brings up is very minimal, and I think we are in dire need for workforce housing, and, yeah, so, anyway. I hear you, Fudge.
I move to approve the resolution and recommend adoption of the City of North Platte, Nebraska Blight and Substandard Study, Wilkinson Study Area, prepared by Marvin Planning Consultants Incorporated, and approval of related actions.
Second.
Moved by Jet, seconded by Winder. Any further discussion? If not, click or vote. And the motion carries.
This too will go on to the city council, next city council meeting, September 6th, for public hearing.
I would like to make a comment in some of the materials, either at one of the conferences I've been to or whatever for planning commission members. It was suggested that planning commission members should not go drive around and look at the things that are being discussed, because that might sway their votes away from what they legally can and cannot or should not do. I thought that was interesting. I'm just sharing that with you because when I read it, I thought, well, how in the heck am I gonna know where that alley goes and whether it should be vacated or not, or that type of thing? But that was the direction that was given in that document, and I have no idea who wrote it or whether it's reliable. But I thought I'd share that with you.
I'd be curious to hear who said that, because driving around's not a big deal in my mind. It's talking to people in the area is a big deal.
Okay. Thank you. If I can find the quote again,
Yeah,
I will
I'd love to
share
see
that.
it.
It took me aback. I thought, what the heck? I'm gonna drive around my town and see what's going on, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, item number 6, discussion of upcoming zoning map and zoning regulation amendments, home-based business, home occupation, special events district.
I did not provide you with anything, I haven't done any work on that lately, so, I just wanna make sure that we keep it on the agenda for discussion, so if anything comes up, we wanna continue to work forward and forge forward in those areas, so that's all I have for that right now.
Okay. Item number 7 is election of officers, and I'm sure you've noticed this beautiful bouquet down here. That is from the mayor. And I assume that means that my term on the planning commission will be done shortly. I would assume, by the next city council meeting, depending on what the city council does. But, so I am not in any way, shape, or form eligible for any shape or form officer on the planning commission. So, open for discussion, whatever you want to do.
Giant, silent.
It's silent, yes.
Are you sure we can't re-elect Marilyn?
She can stay until Brandon appoints her appointment.
Yeah, I'll stay till the end of the meeting, thank you very much.
I think the flowers are the get-out thing.
I would make a motion that David Fudge take the chairmanship.
Second.
Okay, so we must be gonna do these individually.
All right, I guess we're doing them individually. A motion by Bain, second by
Winder.
Winder for the chairperson to be David Fudge. Any discussion? David, would you accept it if nominated?
Sure.
Good.
I don't need to do that, but if y'all want, I will, so.
Okay. Any other discussion on chairmanship? Then we will vote.
Should we get him a crown?
I'm abstaining.
Mr. Fudge says,
Bedazzled crown.
Mr. Fudge says he abstains. I don't know how you do that, Michelle.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
Congratulations, Mr. Fudge. You will thoroughly enjoy that
Yeah.
particular task, guaranteed. All right.
Your cell phone number again?
No, no. We do need a vice chair.
You okay to keep doing that?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Any objections,
Yeah,
Nelson?
I'll keep sitting here. It's been easy so far.
I would make the motion to have Commissioner Jett remain as vice chair.
Second that,
Was that Emily?
yes.
All right, it has been moved and by Winder, seconded by Whirl, to elect, nominate, whatever, Mr. Jett as vice chair.
You better not miss a bunch of meetings now, David.
He had his
That's the
reasons for
comment,
asking.
right?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
the one that asked.
You do have the opportunity to say
No,
no,
I'm good.
but we're not gonna listen to it anyway. Any other discussion? Clicker vote.
Well, might as well vote yes, I'm already here.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. Jett, as continuing as vice chair. That is great. Do we have any other old business? Yes, sir.
May I make a suggestion? Judy and I haven't talked about this, but just from experience, statute requires that you have a secretary. You have a recording secretary, and statute also says you can have a recording secretary. But if either one of these two members are gone, you still have a quorum potentially, and who runs the meeting then?
The vice chair is supposed to be vice chair / secretary. We didn't have it on here this time.
Okay,
And we
So
do
we
have,
maybe need to amend that. I don't know.
yeah, and we do have the bylaws. Our bylaws just have the
yeah.
chair and
Just
then
have the
vice
two.
chair
It
slash
does.
Just a
secretary.
suggestion for,
Yeah.
because you can, I mean, even the commission I sit on, we have 5 members. You could have the chair and the vice chair both gone and still have a quorum.
Might be something to look at.
Yeah.
Our bylaws do have just a chair and then a vice chair slash secretary.
You mean we should read the bylaws?
Marilyn.
Been a while, but I have read them, so I'll
Just
read them again.
checking.
Well,
Hey,
good
could we
thing
put
she's
something
leaving.
in there, Judy, that would say like the senior member runs the meeting in the absence of the chair and vice chair? Something generic along those lines?
Well, let me take a look at it and we'll see. We'll look at the state statute.
It does.
Don't you do a pro tem or something?
Yeah, we usually elect a pro tem in the absence of both of them. Then we just elect a pro tem, but we'll check out the bylaws, take a look at it. I mean, they probably haven't been updated for 15 years, so. we'll
Section
have to
2,
look
number
at it.
7 says vice chair / secretary.
Yeah.
Yep,
Probably not a bad idea, just separate them out.
okay, we'll take a look at it. No problem.
On the agenda next time?
On the agenda and.
Because
next
I'm gonna
time.
be watching,
Okay.
you know.
Are you gonna start coming back to the meetings now?
Oh, I might sit out there, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, boy, you can be heckle us
Good
about
luck,
there.
David.
Thanks, Tristan.
Okay, any other old business?
Thanks for accepting. I think you'll do good.
Thank you, Marilyn. I think
Yep,
that
thank
you've done
you.
a great job at steering the ship, especially with a lot of turnover on the commission under your term, so I don't know we'd be where we are without you. Well, no, not that it's been her fault, but there's been a lot of new members to come in since Marilyn took our chairmanship.
I love it.
I've been doing this 4 years. She's the last one left of the ones that I did when I started.
Yep.
Yes.
Is still serving on the planning.
Thanks
I
for your service.
survived.
Weber would have been on too.
I survived.
Oh, that's right, Dawn.
Yeah.
And Dawn, yes, yes.
Out next year, I believe.
I do have new business.
Yeah, we aren't done yet.
Oh, we don't?
No. New business.
Okay, I have a couple of things. We're gonna have a very active fall, so be prepared for possibly some special meetings coming up. regarding some projects.
Now, you didn't say that before you.
Hear that, David? That's awesome.
Just wanted to kind of forewarn you. The other thing, as the chairperson, you either must serve on the
Oh, yeah.
Board of Adjustment, or you can appoint someone from this board to serve on the Board of Adjustment. Board of Adjustment meets periodically. I can't say it's every month, but it's at 8:30 in the morning on the same Tuesday.
How did you handle it? Did
I
you-
went
Sir.
because,
Sad.
you know, I didn't have anything else to do.
She's not
It actually was
eligible for
very, it
appointment,
was,
David.
it was very interesting, and it meant that things that happened there, I could, if they were there because the planning commission didn't do their job, then I could come back to you and say, hey, look, guys, we need to take a look at these things, otherwise it's gonna be at the Board of Adjustment.
And you don't have to decide tonight.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Let's,
And they
let's
don't meet
schedule
every
some
month.
time.
What was
But
that?
let's schedule some time. We'll visit about it.
yeah.
Okay,
Good idea.
and then if anybody, if anybody here volunteers, you might get lucky and somebody will volunteer, so.
Nelson?
And if anybody would like to attend the Nebraska Planning and Zoning Association Conference, we can still get you in, so just let me know. I know Emily and Angie are gonna go down, so.
We have a lot of good time. We have a good time there. And we actually learned some things.
Perfect.
Our next meeting is when, September 27th?
That's the next regularly scheduled one. There may be some other ones in between.
Not here the month of September.
Okay. Okay.
I'm available 2 days in September, the 12th and the 13th.
Keep
We
the
can
12th
schedule
open.
around that.
Keep the 12th
Yeah,
open.
I'm here the 12th and 13th, and the rest, well, the following week I'm here too, so the 19th and 20th that week, but the rest I'm not. If you need me.
Perfect.
In person, I'm not here.
I just want to say that this has been one of the most rewarding things that I have been involved in. I've lived in North Platte for about 56 years, not thinking when we moved here that we would be here longer than 4 or 5. And to see what has happened over those years and to be a part of it is really, yes, frustrating, but very, very exciting. And the people that I've worked with on the planning commission, because I had a chair right over there. I think David, I had your, don't ever sit in David's chair, because that's a chair, that's where they pick the chair. Just tremendous.
Should have told me that a year ago.
No. Just a really, really good experience, and being able to work statewide with some people, that type of thing, but working with local people also has been tremendous and such a rewarding thing to do. And yes, I get telephone calls or visits or whatever, but that's a part of being involved in something like this. So I thank each of you for serving and taking officer positions, and I hope you will continue to work with the city or county or whoever, wherever that leads you. We have had city planning commission members move onto the city council and onto other positions of working with the public, and so I hope you'll consider that also when you have been on long enough that you know it's time to leave. But anyway, thank you. And Judy, thank you very, very much for all of the help that you've given me, not only as chair, but when I was a new member and didn't know what the heck was going on.
You've been
That
an
was awesome.
absolute fantastic chair.
Well, thank you
Appreciate it.
very much.
Thank you.
We ready?
Yep.
Adjourned.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Yes.
Marilyn, does this mean you're running for city?
No, and I, but
No.
I filed for city council.